Hello to all the brilliant BSIS students from Carlos Hilado Memorial State University. My name is Hostname, and as a lawyer, I'm here to give you a really practical guide for something that's going to be a massive part of your professional lives, starting right now with your on-the-job training. Today, we are breaking down the Data Privacy Act. So let's just jump right into a scenario. Picture this. It's your first week of OJT. They hand you a login, a password, and bam, you've got access to the company's entire customer database. I mean, how cool is that? It's exciting. But with that power comes a whole lot of responsibility. And understanding that responsibility is exactly why we're talking today. So the law that's going to be your guide through all of this is Republic Act 1073, but everybody just calls it the Data Privacy Act of 2012. I want you to think of it as your official rulebook for handling data. Now, I know hearing Republic Act sounds kind of intimidating, but trust me, it's actually pretty straightforward once you get the basics. So let's start with the absolute first thing you have to know. First things first, we need to be clear on what it is you're actually protecting. The law starts with this big concept, personal information. All this means is any piece of info that can point to a specific living person. We're talking about the basics here: name, address, email, phone number. Pretty simple, right? But, and this is a big but, the law then carves out this special, super protected category. It's called sensitive personal information. This is the kind of data you have to be extremely careful with. Any slip-up involving this type of information is treated way more seriously by the law, and for a very good reason. So let's look at the difference here, side by side. On the left, you've got your basic personal info. It identifies you. But on the right, that's the really private stuff. We're talking about someone's race, their private health conditions, their educational background, and all those government ID numbers like SSS, TIN, PhilHealth. Let me be really clear. Mishandling anything on the right side of this slide carries much, much heavier penalties. Okay, so what does this all mean for you, day-to-day in your OJT? Well, the law actually gives us 3 core principles to live by. These 3 ideas should guide every single thing you do with data. Think of them as your guiding stars. Think of these as your simple daily rules. Number 1, transparency. People have a right to know why you're collecting their data and what you're going to do with it. 2, legitimate purpose. So if you collect a customer's email for a newsletter, you can't just suddenly start using it for something totally different without their permission. And 3, proportionality. This one is huge for you as IT folks. Only collect what you absolutely need for the task. Don't go adding extra just-in-case fields to a database. If you don't need it, don't collect it. And look, just to prove I'm not making this up, here it is, straight from the law itself, Section 11. These aren't just good suggestions. They are the absolute bedrock of legal data processing in the Philippines. If you break one of these principles, you're breaking the law. It's that simple. All right, now we have to talk about this serious stuff. Because as an OJT, a mistake doesn't just impact your evaluation. It can have massive legal and financial consequences, both for you personally and for the company you're working for. Honestly, understanding the cost of a mistake is the best way to make sure you never make one. Let's just let that number sink in for a second. 6 years. That's the potential maximum prison time for something like accessing sensitive personal information just because you were negligent. We're talking about something as simple as leaving your computer unlocked with a file open that has employee medical info. It could lead to this. And if the thought of jail time isn't enough, let's talk money. Up to 5 million pesos. Now, this isn't for just one little mistake. This kind of fine can be applied if you're part of a bigger mess-up, like a large-scale data leak or unauthorized data sharing. The law does not play around. The penalties are designed to be a wake-up call. So, as you can see from this table, different mistakes have different but always serious penalties. Just throwing sensitive documents in the regular trash instead of shredding them, that's improper disposal, and it could land you up to 3 years in prison and a 1 million peso fine. And look at the other 2. Doing something with data you weren't supposed to or accessing it through carelessness, that's up to 6 years and 4 million pesos. These are not just slaps on the wrist. Okay, I know this all sounds pretty heavy, maybe even a little scary, but the law isn't just about punishment. It's also about protection. And that protection, it applies to you too. When you start your OJT, you give the company your personal data. That makes you a data subject, and the law gives you a whole set of rights. These are your rights, spelled out in Section 16. You have the right to know what a company is doing with your data. You have the right to see it, to correct it if it's wrong, and even have it deleted. And this is a big one. You have the right to be paid for damages if they mess up.
It's so important to remember these because every single customer whose data you work with, they have these exact same rights.
Whew. Okay, that was a lot of information, I know. So let's boil it all down into a really simple playbook for your OJT. These are the key things to remember that will keep you, your company, and most importantly, their customers safe.
This is your mantra for your entire internship. Number 1, always ask. Seriously, it is always better to pause and ask a dumb question than to make a big mistake. If you're not sure you should be doing something with data, stop and ask your supervisor. 2, always secure. This is just basic digital common sense. Lock your screen when you get up for coffee. Use a strong password. Don't leave printouts on your desk. And finally, number 3, and this is the most important one, always respect. Treat every piece of data you handle with the same care you would want someone to use for your own deepest, most private information.
Your OJT is just the very first step in what's going to be a long and amazing career. The habits you build right now, that respect for data, the diligence you have in securing it, and the courage to ask questions when you're not sure, that is what will define you as a professional for years to come. See, data privacy isn't just about following a law, it's about building trust. And as the next generation of IT professionals, you are now the guardians of that trust. Thank you.